But of course, I'm going to be chilling here a little bit, and we're talking budget. This is an extension or a throw back from what would have happened earlier today on the Situation Hot Seat. Right now, we've got the privilege of having in studio the man who presented the budget for 2017 to the Ghana Parliament, the Honorable Minister of Finance, Mr. Winston Jordan. Good afternoon to you and welcome to Life Word Number One.
Good afternoon, it's a pleasure being here. My first time, but I hope not the last.
Certainly, and we certainly hope that by the time we're done with this, you'll be excited to return. So let's go first off. One of the things that we're looking at is the concerns of people on the budget. And every year, when a budget goes out, based on its interpretations by the different sectors, including the private sector, chambers of commerce, the different manufacturing units and so on, they give their inputs or they weigh in on it. And usually those things set the mood for the general public to determine, well, this is a good budget, this is not a good budget. 2017's presentation would have seen a list of items, albeit good. However, there is this one part that is niggling and is taking the conversation in a national way to dominate over everything else, and that is the imposition of the 40% VAT on water and electricity. Inquiring minds would like to know why this.
Well, okay, as again, thanks for inviting me here. It is sad that the budget, about 250 billion, the largest in the country, and then all we're reflecting on is too tiny, as you rightly said, too tiny items. But then again, sometimes ants can do the work of an elephant, really. When we came into power in May 2015, we had made some 100-day pledges. One of the pledges was that we will reduce the VAT from the 16% that we inherited. We didn't keep the 100-day promise, as you know, but we did have some explanations that when we came in, we found things were far worse financially than we had expected. And while we kept some promises that had some financial implications, we just couldn't do the VAT. In any case, the VAT is a very big part of our revenue collection. And to reduce the VAT without doing some kind of a study and its impact would have caused some trouble. We couldn't do it, so we set up what is called a tax reform committee, comprising Morris Odle, Dr. Morris Odle, Christopher Ram, Dr. Station, who is now the present Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, and Dr. Thomas Singh, lecturer at the University of Ghana. It was hoped that they will be able to produce a report before the 2016 budget was prepared. However, they were not able to do so, and we did receive the report just after we presented the budget. Luckily, some of the stuff that they had recommended was in there, but certainly we couldn't do the VAT. Between then and now, on the presentation of this budget, I had started alluding to the fact that a reduction in the VAT will come with some pain. I specifically mentioned that everything will be in play. Zero-rated items, what I call zero-rated items on which the producers and manufacturers get back their input VAT, as it is called. Those will come under pressure. They'll either be compatible or exempt. I also indicated that water and electricity were going to be fair game in this. I mentioned the fact that earlier in the year, Trinidad itself had reduced their VAT, and they have expanded their list of items which were previously non-VAT to vatable, and it included such things as baby foods. So in Trinidad, you have situations where items like baby foods now attract a VAT, where before it didn't attract a VAT. In Ghana, of course, we have done no such thing. All we call poor man's items and so on remain non-vatable, which means that they do not attract VAT. So when you lose roughly, in this measure, when you lose roughly $4 billion You have to find it back from someplace. Indeed, the entire gamut of measures that we have put in place in this year's budget will cost the Treasury $10 billion. $10 billion. But that's fine, because we expect this $10 billion to be pumped back into the economy, whether it's by way of your increased disposable income, whether it's by way of the loss on VAT, whether it's by way of the reduction in the corporate tax on manufacturing companies that we have given, and so on. Okay, so, but you have to find back the $10 billion that you've lost, given up in such a way. And so items like electricity, which weren't taxed before, water that wasn't taxed before, other items that weren't taxed before, they came as fair game. Now what have we done? We have looked at the electricity. We have got the numbers from Guyana Power and Light. Now let me step back a little bit here and say, it is you could have your own opinion about GPL, they got blackouts, they got this, they got that. Long and short is, they are our number one generator of energy, electricity. They have their database. They said they have 138,000 customers who they bill per month. And they said of those 138,000, 105,000 of their customers pay $10,000 and less. Pay $10,000 and less. They said 4,888 businesses that they have on their register pay $10,000 and less in electricity per month. Now you may scoff, do whatever, but that's their numbers. I can't go to any other place to find the numbers, and I could only develop a policy based on evidence. Okay, and I see, for example, today's papers Starbucks News is scoffing at the number. Now, instead of scoffing, why don't you go to Guyana Power and Light and say, hey, I don't trust your database. I don't like what you're saying, and so on. And let them throw out the same numbers that they throw out to me. But for as long as that's not being done, then you have to accept that 105,000 customers on the GPL database pay $10,000 and less. And once they do so, they will not attract a 14% VAT.
I think where the scoffing would have come from the Starbucks News is not more so of not necessarily believing those figures from the agency, but what has been proven over time is that many government agencies actually rebuff requests for pertinent information.
Yes.
And in light of that, then you can do nothing else about except to scoff.
I agree. I appreciate that indeed. In fact, we did say in the budget, for example, that we found a kind of malaise in government departments generally as it relates to delivering services, that we ourselves were upset. And we said in this budget, we're prepared to do something substantial about this. I mean, you would go on to NIS, you would go on to even, hopefully, Ministry of Finance has now improved somewhat, but prior to that, people who went for their pensions complaining about the malaise they see there and so on, people gaffing and so forth in an open forum. And you go to other places, I mean, GRA comes on and me too, I hope they have improved somewhat. Again, people complain bitterly about the services and so forth. So there's a general malaise. And there seems to be nothing, people seem to be powerless to do something about this. On my watch particularly, where my agencies are concerned, everybody has been put on notice. And that is, I take it that is their first warning. They won't be 2 and 3. Essentially, if we pay for service through taxpayers' income, we must get a quality service. And this is what we demand in when we go to the United States, Barbados, Trinidad, or wherever. I don't see why we in Ghana cannot deliver a similar service to what we expect when we go overseas. So, I agree with you, the scoffing is there, but the reality is these are the numbers. Similarly for water, we went to GWI. GWI said significant numbers of their customers pay $1,000 and less. We up it to $1,500 to be safe. So we expect again a substantial number of customers at GWI will not be paying VAT.
Given this outburst, pushback from John Public especially, will there be a consideration as the debate will be going on in Parliament about maybe perhaps raising the estimates? This is one of the questions that lots of people are asking. Will there be a possibility of raising that threshold?
Well, we can't, because all we are going on right now is emotions. I have my numbers, everybody has their emotions. They don't have numbers, they have emotions. And what we have to do here now is give this policy a chance to see if it works. And you could always adjust the policy after you would have had some level of experience with it. But your number will be as good as mine. and your number is probably 0 VAT. My number is 14. Let's give it a chance to see if it will work. And then, I have done some research on this, and perhaps you might be excited to do your own research subsequently. And almost all places that have a VAT on water and electricity start from $1. We're starting from 10,000. This, in other words, if you consume $1 of water, you start paying your VAT. Here, you have to consume over $10,000 of electricity per month to start paying the VAT. In other words, $10,000 not an allowance. If you consume $10,001 of electricity, 14% will be on $10,001. So, in essence, there you also have a kind of a conservation measure there that I have to start looking at what I do, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to do. You know, water is being wasted around all over the place. We brush teeth and have water running. We soak while the water is still running and so on. I went to England in '83 to study, and you will pay dearly if you had done such things. Pay very dearly. And I don't know. We may be the land of many waters. Agreed. But water is not a free commodity. It has to be trapped, it has to be treated, it has to be distributed properly, and so on and so forth. So, I think in terms of our greening of the environment also, we need to pay some more attention in terms of what we do.
One thing that I just want you to clarify there, you're talking about conservation and so on, but isn't that the purpose specifically why we were all metered, both the water and electricity, to be able to not waste, but to pay as you go, whatever you will consume?
Absolutely, the point is well taken. That is all part of the conservation measures indeed. That you were metered so that you will pay for what you consume, essentially. But at the end of the day, that is the person who is delivering the water. The government that is responsible for the roads and your health and your free health and your free education and everything else that you do, social security to old age people, care of the elderly, care of the sick, care of the young, babies, everything. They have to have taxes to do all these different things. And I think for your taxes, you should be demanding quality services. But it's one or the other. It's either we push more and more of these services to the private sector, with a reduced income take, a proportionate adjustment in taxes. As I said, if we could just focus on the poor, which is what I think this is all about, we are saying 105,000 people of the 138,000 database will not be paying VAT. They will not attract a VAT. And I think they would have a legitimate concern if we were saying they were paying 14% on one single dollar and above. Similarly, the water, I would have agreed if we had just put a 14% VAT on their entire bill. This is sort of saying, here, we recognize as a poor person, you consume this amount of water and so on, go ahead and consume it. But however, be aware that there are limitations to everything, and therefore one has to begin to look at it.
So just two other things before we wrap up. First off, you did mention earlier that Christopher Ram was part of the Tax Reform Committee.
Yes.
And he's also the managing partner of Rama McCrae, who
yes.
I think it's last weekend, would have put out a very scathing report on your third budget presentation, giving some insights into the different areas, and basically concluding it is not a good budget for Guyana. What is your response?
Well, because we only have that quick wrap-up time, I couldn't go through everything. I will tell you this much. I read it and I promptly called him, and you wouldn't want to hear what I told him. Right, so you get a sense of what I would have told him, essentially. Christopher Ram is a friend. I don't want to be a scathing perhaps, but I will say this much. His last 2 or 3 reviews have not, in my view, lived up to expectation. They're some repetitive in many respects, and they give the impression sometimes that he didn't read through the budget and that he was trying to meet some kind of a deadline, which he does, because he has to get these documents within a certain time. when they're produced, and he has to go through them and produce his report for Sabbath News. So I didn't get a sense that he read through the budget, he understands the implications of some of the stuff. In fact, I was so incensed of some of the stuff that he had written. I called him immediately and let him have an earful. So that is where I will be back.
All right. Final question. A government makes money in two ways: taxes and investments.
And income on investments.
Income, well, same thing. Some taxes, some in terms of In a
No, it will use its taxes to invest.
It will lose its taxes.
It uses taxes to invest, and it will make income from the investment.
From the
some investments.
Some
investments, yes.
So the question is, where are the investments projected, particularly foreign investments, as a way to be able to make money? Because it is seen as a budget primarily for taxes. Where are the investments?
No, well, let's see what we do with your taxes, essentially. All right? Now, this is a deficit budget. Indeed, all of our budgets in this country, for as long as we can remember, and perhaps for as long as we will remember, well into the oil, when the oil starts pumping and we got resources, will be deficit budgets. What do we mean by deficit budgets? It means that the revenue that you can garner from every single source, whether through taxes, non-tax sources, grants that are given to you, which are free money given to you by perhaps friendly governments or multilateral institutions and so on. And the expenditure that you propose to undertake, whether it's current expenditure, which is paying salaries, electricity bills, water and so on, or capital expenditure, which is investment in roads, hospitals, schools, water, sewerage, housing and so on. That's when your total expenditure exceeds your revenue. When that happens, you have to go and borrow. Now you borrow from both local sources and you borrow from overseas sources. The big thing here is that you don't want to have your deficit too large, because deficits add up to debt. And present and future generations will be saddled with the debt the larger it becomes. So one has to have what you call prudent borrowing. That is borrowing that is manageable within the context of some profile of debt and revenue that you may have over 3 to 5 years span, or even longer as it takes. So we have a 58 billion Ghana dollar investment program for 2017 alone. But overall, we will be borrowing roughly about $38 billion to finance this budget. That is despite all the revenues that we will collect, or we project to collect next year. We will still have to borrow roughly $38 billion to finance all our spending activities. And you will see it like how you have seen it already. Have you seen the roads recently in Georgetown? For the first time, you've seen roads with signage and paintings, markings on both sides, and so on. The wheels on your cars are smiling. Why? Because they're driving over smooth roads. You look all over Water Street, you go down Waterloo Street, you go down Carmichael Street, Middle Street. You're seeing. You go down Sophia, you were seeing. You go down South Prineville, you were seeing. Leg One, you were seeing new roads popping up all over the place. You were seeing new schools popping up, and we have a major program. You know what's exciting about next year? Next year we are going to initiate the first phase of the Linden Lethem Road up to Maburo. Next year we're going to initiate the studies for the Demerara, a permanent bridge across the Demerara. We're going to retire eventually the floating bridge that we have. Next year we're going to initiate the study for a permanent bridge across the Essequibo River at Kurupukari. So you don't have to wait on the pontoon that is there that takes you. There are many exciting things that we are going to use your tax dollars to spend next year. And all of this, while we are going to reduce the income tax rate that you're paying from 30% to 28%, we are going to increase your threshold. Listen to this. We're going to increase your threshold from $660,000 per year, or $55,000 per month, to $720,000 per year, or $60,000 per month, or 1/3 of your gross salary. So if you are working, right now, if you are working for $300,000 a month, you are subject to the same $55,000 as the person who's working for $60,000 per month. From January 1, you will now get $100,000 as your threshold, which is 1/3 of your $300,000. And what is best to? Your forced one, so $200,000 will be left as your chargeable income. Of that 200,000, 120,000 will be subject to 28% tax. 28. Whereas that 200,000 right now will be subject to an overall 30% tax. 120,000 will be subject to 28, and the remaining 80,000 will be subject to 40%. So at the end of the day, every single person in this country, every soul, will be carrying home more money as a result of these measures alone. And we're not counting the salary increases that we have given public servants and so on. So I think at the end of the day, the message I want to leave with your listeners is that this is not doom and gloom. The fear that is being spread by the opposition is unwarranted and unfounded. They can keep this government and hold this government to what it says as related in this budget. If this committee will be given to you, if this half year we did the review and it showed that the 105,000 customers that GPL said wasn't necessarily true, we will review that particular aspect of it again to see what can be done. Exactly.
All right, so that's a challenge thrown
That's
out
a challenge thrown out.
to all Guyanese, I should say. Of course, we will get into more details on Thursday
Yes.
about other aspects of the budget, but I just want you to leave with this message. 2 Mondays ago when you presented your budget, shortly after you were asked by a member of the media about this being the Christmas period, if there's any bonus or benefits for public servants.
Yes.
At that time you did say it's a slim possibility, and you
Yes.
elaborated by showing the sign of how slim. I want to ask 10 days after,
Yes.
what is that possibility, given the fact that next weekend should be payday for public servants?
There's a glimmer of hope. There's a glimmer of hope.
There is a glimmer of hope.
Yes, but it would not be in their pay packets if we were to pay something, because it's too late. But hopefully, if we are able to announce something shortly, they probably get it before the end of the year, which is good because we're not supposed to be spending all the money on Christmas. You see, New Year should never break you. And Thursday, we have a date on Thursday where we can discuss much more of these measures. I hope we can continue to allay fears, wipe away fears, and spread more joy. It's the season of Christmas.
Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.